The Kayfabe Crunch is kept clean by Germy Hand Sanitizer. It's spelled Germ-Y, like other popular brands, but we prefer to say Germy. Our chemical-free liquids guarantee the total annihilation of all germs. Sneeze with reckless abandon and feel safe in the knowledge that you can successfully murder your snot molecules with Germy.
The Kayfabe Crunch. Welcome to the news. Penitentiary.
Good day, this is your Kayfabe Crunch for Tuesday, March 17th, 2020. I'm Timothy Twist of Fate. Sorry, I just realized I got a name change last week. I'm Timothy Twist of Fury. Today is St. Patrick's Day, so happy birthday to Sheamus, Finn Balor, Becky Lynch, and Jordan Devlin. I think that's how that works. And also celebrating their birthday today is Samoa Joe, an excellent wrestler who managed to get a bit of a leg up on the whole quarantine situation by intentionally getting suspended for 30 days. Clever boy, well done Samoa. And on this day in grappling history, Wrestle-Mania 18 took place. An event that saw two icons from two generations clash in a bout for the ages, as Maven fought Goldust to a no contest. Coming up, we have all the latest from an empty arena Raw and full coverage of the spread of the Wrestle-Mania virus. But first, we'd like to assure our listeners that here at the Kayfabe Crunch offices, we're doing everything within our power to practice positive public health. We all have massive buckets of germy beneath our desks, so we can freely decontaminate any body part we wish, at our convenience. And we're all practicing social distancing effectively, as each of our 619 journalists are working in a separate office, in our, quite frankly, excessively sized headquarters. You don't think there's going to be any downsizing, do you? I need this. And now let's get down to the empty entertainment news. Top story, momentous monologue. Edge really set the tone for last night's show with his opening words.
You know, it's been a strange few months for my wife Beth and I.
Yeah, and it's going to be a strange few months for the rest of us too, buddy. The rated R superstar, who is a little more rated T for terrific talking these days, said that he knew his and Orton's paths were destined to intertwine. Well, if you could see the future, Edge, why did you continue to fall off all those very tall ladders? In fact, why didn't you bet on the outcome of major wrestling events? My God, you could have been a billionaire by now. Or, well, whatever the Canadian equivalent is. That country seems too nice for billionaires. Although, scratch that, because if Edge had been rich, his next statement wouldn't have been true, as he referred to Randy as an entitled, spoiled brat. Edge then brought up the fact he was raised by a single parent, as opposed to Orton, who was raised by a double parent. What Edge said next was interesting, but I'm going to make you wait an extra sentence or two to hear it, as 50% of last night's broadcast was repeats and highlights, and I need material for this podcast, help me. Edge claimed that Beth Phoenix was at Raw 2 weeks ago to retire on his behalf, but as Orton RKO'd her before she could speak, she was unable to complete her task, and so now, due to Glamazon Prime being the love of his life and mother of his children, Edge will remain unretired. Or re-unretired. Newly re-unhired. It's very confusing. Not only that, but Edge requested a last man standing match with Orton at WrestleMania, which will be amazing, providing neither man catches WrestleMania before WrestleMania. Otherwise, the last man standing stipulation could be eerily literal. And now it's time for your Fast Count, the Michael Cole commentary booth of news.
It's official. Wrestle-Mania will be live from the Performance Center on April 5th. So it's business as usual for all but 80,000 fans.
The Undertaker's gong somehow more eerie with no crowd. The Undertaker's physical presence, a little less eerie.
Becky Lynch arrived at Monday Night Raw in a custom-made truck. It featured multiple decals of her own face, so we assume all 18 wheels will be used to carry her ego.
Rey Mysterio and Andrade add an empty arena match to their rivalry's resume. They're only missing a Hell in a Cell, barroom brawl, and a Judy Bagwell on a pole match to complete the set.
Shayna Baszler lacks spatial awareness as she watches Becky Lynch insult her from 15 feet away and does nothing.
Will Ospreay put on a no-audience live show featuring him and his friends. So, if you're friends with Will and weren't booked for that show, that's a little awkward.
Raw replayed the recent Royal Rumble to remind everyone what thousands of people in a building actually looks like.
If you're currently self-isolating, check out Respect Women's Wrestling on YouTube. That's not a joke, they're just our local independent, and it's good to support them during this difficult time. That's Respect Women's Wrestling. If you need to know how to spell it, ask Aretha Franklin.
AJ Styles brags about not having to go through the Performance Center, and yet he's there now. Back for the next few months. Life finds a way.
Jushin Thunder Liger's induction into the Hall of Fame has gone down a storm. But we Tourney don't know if this is the right call in 2020, as he can't be there live to accept the offer. Yes, it's going to be a cyclone-ly ceremony this year. His middle name is Thunder, it's extreme weather puns. And that's your fast count.
You've been counted out. You've been weighed on the scales and found wanting.
Yesterday was, of course, 316 Day. The USA Network could have done a little more to promote it, don't you think? This meant a much-anticipated visit from Stone Cold Steve Austin at the crown of the show for approximately 5 minutes. After drinking 2 of his Broken Skull IPAs, which I believe stands for Iced Packaged Ass Whooping, Stone Cold gave himself a backdrop in the middle of the ring. Mr. Austin then said he blew himself up during his entrance, but we didn't see any pyro, so we're unsure what he means by that. He then declared March 16th a national holiday. We've checked, he doesn't have that power, although it should be noted that Vince McMahon absolutely does. Stone Cold looked for several hell yeahs from the audience after reading each of his declarations for Stone Cold Day, but he only received a response from one Byron Saxton. They continued this back and forth, with Byron rating each of his proposed policies with a 1 through 10 number system, proving once again that WWE is more efficient at democratic practice than any branch of government. Mr. Austin eventually grew tired of Saxton's shenanigans and invited him to the ring for a cold one and a stunner. The true meaning of 316 Day revealed. The announcement of 316 Day, of course, came at 10:55 p.m. Eastern Time, meaning many Americans will have to wait until next year to actually celebrate. Becky Lynch, however, was on hand to join in the festivities, having brought a large cooler to work with her, presumably because today is St. Patrick's Day and not because she has a bit of a problem. Actually, screw it, with no live events, she'll only be working 1 night a week. Beers all round. We need it right now. Cheers, Becky. And there's just time for a markets report. Oh no. Well, that can't be right. The lowest since when? And it's all because of the spread of Wrestle-Mania. Oh dear. I need to make a few calls. There's no time for a markets report today. Everything is fine. Join us Saturday when we'll bring you all the latest from Florida's empty arenas. And remember, you can support the Kayfabe Crunch during this difficult time by recommending us to a fellow wrestling fan. I'm just hearing that we may have to lay off around 316 of our reporters in the coming months. No, not you, JD. You're crucial. You're absolutely crucial. Nope, stay behind the glass. I'll hug you later. I mean, I'll bump elbows with you later. So please, get the word out while everyone is kept in. This has been the Kayfabe Crunch, your not quite daily, not quite news, bump for the world of professional wrestling.
The Kayfabe Crunch is kept clean by Jeremy Hand Sanitizer. Nothing cleans like Jeremy. Since 1749, we've been the leading brand in virus eradication. Spanish flu, we killed you. Cholera, we didn't tolerate ya. And now, Wrestle-Mania, we'll hold your shoulders to the mat for the 1, 2, 3. Jeremy, we are racist against germs.
The Kayfabe Crunch.